Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Look, man, Tim Tszyu, Keith Thurman, Errol Spence, they all connected. They are all connected. Because they're dealing with the Fundora era right now. You know what I'm saying? You get in that ring with Fundora, it's like you almost feel that Tim Tszyu was one shot away from something great, but he was dealing with chaos. Keith Thurman seemed to be one shot away from something great, but he was dealing with chaos. You know what I'm saying? Just knowing Tim Tszyu has a fight coming up, right? But when he fought Fundora, it felt like a fight living on a knife's edge. You just knew it. At any moment, anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? And at multiple moments, it looked like Tszyu was just one shot away from flipping things, man. Or one mistake away from getting overwhelmed and broken down and possibly taken out of that ring on a stretcher. And that's the danger with Fundora. He creates chaos with his volume and size. So when the referee stepped in that rematch with Tszyu and Fundora, it left that lingering feeling kind of like this could have ended either way in seconds. But it also made Tim Tszyu look bad because he had lost to Fundora in the first fight. He had got knocked out by Murtazaliev. Then he lost to Fundora in the rematch. So Tim Tszyu, by a lot of boxing fans, was signed off. They were like, he just doesn't have it. He's a hype job from Australia. Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. What would have happened if he fought Thurman? What would have happened if he fought Spence? What would have happened if he fought a guy like Charlo? What would have happened if he fought any of these considered special fighters from America? Well, come down Keith Thurman, because he felt the same damn thing. You know what I'm saying? This past weekend, he experienced that exact tension. Before the stoppage, Thurman showed flashes, man. A couple of sharp counters, some explosive moments. He showed that he's a very dangerous fighter in the ring, but he just couldn't get there. He was doing everything right. He just didn't have the reach to land. Thurman was doing everything right. His timing, counters, shot selection. He just couldn't get there because of the size and reach of Fundora. And just like Tszyu, he felt like he was either about to land something huge or get completely overrun. And he complained like hell when the referee stopped the fight. But this is the thing. That fight needed to be stopped. But we have to understand and just accept the fact that Fundora, he's the top dog at 154. He's coming to his size. He's coming to his height. He's coming to his reach. He decided to listen to boxing fans who have been screaming at him, Bozo, you're 6'6". Why are you fighting like Aesop Pitbull Cruz? You too tall, too long. Why are you sitting there giving these guys an opportunity to land? No one should ever land a shot on you. And I'll tell you what, with Tim Tszyu in the rematch, you could see Fundora was trying to be more disciplined, but he still got caught up in a firefight. But with Keith Thurman, Fundora, he didn't give him any chance. Fundora fought discipline. All he needed to do was put some more speed on that jab. And I'm telling you, Fundora will go through fights unscathed. He just got to pick up a little more speed on his jab. That's it. And none of these guys are going to be able to touch him. Fundora is just an amazing fighter, man. Forces exchanges, breaks rhythms, makes every second uncomfortable for a fighter. So you got to put respect on Fundora's name, man. And at this point, it's clear. He's a top dog at 154 right now. You look at the people he's beat, man. And trust me, more names are going to come. I would like to see him fight Virgil Ortiz. Mexican-American versus Mexican-American. I think that would be a really good fight. But Fundora has survived some dangerous moments. He's imposed his style consistently. And here's the scary part. If Fundora simply does what I've been saying now, and other people have talked about it, just fights tall consistently, use his jab, range, and height, he becomes damn near impossible to beat. Because you're dealing with a 6'5" guy with a whole lot of volume, discipline. That shit is a nightmare. It's a nightmare for anybody. But after Fundora put the bing-bings on Keith Thurman, Tim Tszyu's stock just skyrocketed. It's going back up. Because fans are looking back at Tim Tszyu and they're looking at him a little bit different now. They're saying, damn, Fundora did that to Keith Thurman? Okay, that loss that Tim Tszyu had against Fundora doesn't look so bad anymore. It looks legit because he stood in there with Fundora. He had real moments. It was competitive in chaos. Now that performance aged better, didn't it? So Tszyu has a huge opportunity with the Errol Spence fight looming. Errol Spence Jr. and Tim Tszyu seems like they've already agreed to fight later this year. But here's the problem. Keith Thurman wasn't active when he fought Fundora. He had, Keith Thurman had, I don't know, like less than 10 rounds and under so many years. Something ridiculous. And went up there against Fundora. And he just wasn't really sharp. I put it this, he was doing everything right. He just couldn't get there. And even if Keith Thurman was more active, I don't know what more he could have done. I mean, he just was outclassed. But the same thing with Keith Thurman not being active, fighting a guy like Fundora, and you know, we all saw what happened. Same thing with Errol Spence. He hasn't been active. Now he's coming to fight Tim Tszyu, who's been active, who has a new trainer, who has confidence out of this world. Tim Tszyu lost to Fundora twice. And Murtazaliev, because he fought the wrong fight. Him against Spence, that's more evenly matched. And I give Tim Tszyu a damn good chance. That fight ain't no 80-20 to Spence. That shit is a 50-50 right now. Maybe more like a 60-40, 75-25 to Tim Tszyu, if we're being real. Because Errol Spence hasn't been active. He has a new trainer, and I think it takes time for fighters to gel with their trainers. But you look at Tim Tszyu staying sharp, fighting regularly, building momentum. That's a dangerous mismatch in activity level. So, should Spence fight Thurman instead? I think it'll be a good fight, but you know, Thurman, he gonna have to heal up. Thurman he was battered, wasn't he? But as far as Spence and Thurman, if Spence loses to Tim Tszyu, that's a real argument. Just make Spence and Thurman. Spence might be better off facing Thurman first anyway, but you know, he'd want to get in the ring and they already agreed to a fight with Tszyu. Maybe they were hoping Thurman would beat Fundora so they could line up Thurman against Tszyu or Thurman against Spence. I don't know. But I still think Spence and Thurman's a good fight. Thurman's coming off a loss, more predictable rhythm, less physical pressure than Tszyu. Because right now, Tszyu is a high-risk fight. I don't care what anyone says. He's a high-risk fight. And although Spence has a new trainer, that's not enough, man. I don't think that's enough. Spence right now is working with Ronnie Shields. Ronnie Shields, look, he brings structure. He brings experience. He can help a fighter make adjustments. But again, I think it takes a while for a fighter to gel with their trainer. And here's the truth. A new trainer doesn't replace ring activity. You understand? And I think there's a huge danger because Tim Tszyu can clip Errol Spence. You don't know what the Terrence Crawford fight did to Errol Spence. You know what I mean? You just don't know. But just like Fundora put the bing bings on Thurman, Tim Tszyu, there's a good chance he could do Spence the same way. And you say, all right, well, HUD champion, hold your horses. You're taking it to the stupid. Nah, man, I'm going to tell you why. Because of timing and pressure, because of the activity, because of the heavy hands and constant engagement. If Spence is rusty, a step slow, not fully sharp, Tszyu can capitalize very quickly. And I'm just being real, you know what I'm saying? So Fundora has proven the way he's fighting, he's a problem at 154, and I don't think nobody's going to be able to beat this guy. Especially put some speed on that jab. But Tim Tszyu, he's not looking so bad now, is he? He's not looking so bad. Thurman showed flashes, but he couldn't sustain it. And for Spence, I just think Spence is walking into a dangerous situation. Because if he's not fully ready, he's going to be in trouble. Because Tim Tszyu right now, he's not the guy you want to fight coming off of inactivity. Let me look at something. Because Tim Tszyu's about to fight. Let me see. I want to show you all this. Because Tim Tszyu, okay, there he goes right here. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's Tim Tszyu, 26 wins, 18 knockouts, 3 losses, 2 by KO, 5'8", 70-inch reach. Oh, shit, I'm tripping. This is he. Let's say, okay, so he's fighting. Yeah, this weekend, April 5th. Yep, against Dennis Naraj. They're fighting in Australia. And if he wins this fight, then he'll go on and then he'll fight Errol Spence. So that's Tim Tszyu, 5'8", 70.5 inch reach. So let's look at y'all favorite fighter. Let's look at him. Let's compare him. So Tim Tszyu, 31, almost 5'9", 70-inch reach. Okay. Let's look at Errol Spence. 28 wins, 22 knockouts, 1 loss by KO. He is, they don't have his age, but I know he's like 35, 36. 5'9.5", 72-inch reach, so he has a little more reach than Tim Tszyu. Let's see if they got his stuff down here yet. No, they're not showing his next fight. They're still showing he lost 2023 July at 3 years ago. So he's coming off of 3 years of inactivity, to get in this ring with Tim Tszyu. Anyway, y'all keep cool, man. Put some respect on Tim Tszyu's name. Put some respect on Fundora's name. And these two legends, Keith Thurman and Errol Spence. Keith Thurman could run into the same situation that Errol Spence could run into the same situation that Keith Thurman ran into with Fundora. Not enough activity, going up against an active fighter who's a beast. And Fundora is just a freak of nature. Errol Spence could run into a similar situation, just not a lot of activity, going up against a very active fighter with a new trainer who is a beast in that ring. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.